Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted, with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Hi, Ron Alford. Welcome to Savvy Broadcasting and Life Unscripted. I am so grateful to have you here today. We're going to talk about your new book, and one that is perfectly timed for what's going on. We have a new series that started about 8 months ago called Life After COVID, because we want to talk about moving forward, advancing, growing in our lives and our business. And your new book, Redefining Possible, Proven Strategies to Break Belief Barriers and Create Your New Normal. Isn't that funny? And you wrote this not just yesterday or 8 months ago, but a while ago, but it's perfectly timed to help people get to growth and productivity. But before we go there, share a little bit about your consulting business and what brought you to write the book.
Yeah, no, thanks for asking. So our team, our niche is one-on-one coaching, and we a lot of times will meet various types of industries and teams through doing different types of workshops or sales trainings, keynote events, things like that. And I think that was a lot of what led Dustin and I to start writing it. Is we get so intimate with coaching clients. Mm-hmm. It's business, sales, and leadership coaching, but you can't help but get into real life. And these clients, mm-hmm. A lot of times will open up in a way they may not ever open up to their spouse or a friend, because it's just such a confidential call or calls over the months and years. And for us, we just really noticed a trend. No matter what their income, no matter what they did, what their title was, mm-hmm. you could tell people just had some sort of complacency, some sort of belief limits, some sort of habits that were off. They were just holding them back. And so that was a lot of what we would coach people on. And we, over the years, started kind of organizing into the chapters that are in the book.
Mm. And what's interesting, actually, this new phrase, the new normal, I wasn't too keen. I was like, new normal. I don't want normal, actually. I just want to be just living to the best of my ability. But what is interesting about it is we do get stuck on a hamster wheel in our lives sometimes, where we want things to be static and no, this is comfortable. And it might be you get to a point where it's not working for your life. Maybe your business is in stress, you're not making money, or whatever it might be. Relationships aren't what they could be optimal. But it's comfortable. You know it. You don't want to move from what you know. But actually, sometimes going to just pivoting, sometimes changing different things. Last year, I remember when this whole thing started, I decided, I'm just going to put out a vision board of where I'd like to envision what I'd like to envision my life to be. If I was going to have the most pretty life and here's what I want it to look like, boom, here's what I like to see it. And you know what? 3 things on that vision board has come into reality, and just
wow.
Yeah. And I just put it together and just threw it out there just so I could get it out of me. And, you don't think, a vision board is going to do much, but just putting it out there sometimes is just enough to cement it into your mind, spirit, and then go forward with it.
Can't agree more. Yeah. And it really does not matter spiritual beliefs or any of your listeners. It doesn't matter. But what you just said, like our minds think in pictures. So having these images around my office, my workspace, on a vision board, I'll just quickly show you real quick because you'll laugh at this, Christina. Yeah, this is a older vision board right there. And then this is one I'm working on literally this weekend.
Oh my God, how neato.
A new version. And I'm just such a big believer. And it's one thing to have that and put it on the wall, but then to have a dedicated time each week or each month to look at it and breathe it in and think about it and meditate on it, pray on it, if that's your thing, or whatever each person's thing is. Mm-hmm. And I love that story of yours.
Yeah. And move towards it. I think that's the one thing is first, okay, I'm starting to envision what it would look like, what I want it to feel like. And if I'm in it, what's it like on a day-to-day basis? I had gotten this book years and years ago that I can't remember the name of, that basically said, write out your perfect day, what it would look like. And then I did the same thing later on for the perfect match, husband, whatever. And it's funny, it changes as you begin to revise or redefine what is possible for you. Because the first day you sit down, you'd be like, the only thing I can redefine is a better job right now and better relationships. Okay, boom, let's start there. And then, 5 years from now, okay, now I can redefine starting a business or, I think it changes as you grow as a person. It's not stagnant.
You bet. Yeah. And seasons of life, if a relationship is off with one of our children or a spouse, or I'm noticing that I don't have fitness the way I want to, or my income is not on point, yeah, there's going to be a shift and a bit of an unbalance, a proactive, planned, intentional unbalance to focus on that area of need. So.
Yeah. Now tell me, when you work with people, and let's say this has happened for me, you'll start to envision, this is what I'd like to see my life at, but you cannot for the life of you envision how you could possibly get from here to there. It seems impossible. How do you begin to have them redefine it where this is a possibility, but it's just not something you're able to envision? How do you help them envision it and step into it?
Well, cliches are cliches for reasons because they're often true. And so the one, the first step is often momentum building. And just, it's funny about a human, any of us that feel little victories, they compound on each other. So it's just like in the morning, if I wake up each morning and have a couple things I feel good about, I got up right when the alarm hit off, maybe I didn't stare at my phone first, or I put something healthy into my body, or like all of a sudden you just start feeling a little more confident. You actually stand an inch taller. Your posture changes, your breathing, your lack of irritability, your empathy, I tell my kids, I call it bulletproofness. Things just kind of bounce off of you. So my answer to your question is just one step. What are things we can do today to where you feel like, number one, you stop digging. If you've been digging in a hole of debt or relationship things or whatever. The second thing I'd say is just being hyper aware of self-talk, like our soundtrack in our head, because words become reality. And anytime, if you said, hey, Ron, or if I said, hey, Christina, how you been last week? Or how was your weekend so far?
Yeah.
You'd say, I am, or I feel ... And whatever you say after that, a lot of times will become truth. And so just being really aware of okay, how am I framing what I'm doing? I mean, I have to lie and fake it and just say, oh, I'm great if I'm not feeling great, but just say, I'm doing okay. I'm going through some stuff, man, I'm feeling peaceful. Yeah. And you can frame it in a way where it's a little more positive.
Yeah. One thing I've heard a long time is thank God it's Friday, or it's Monday. And, people start saying those things. It's cute. I'm going to send out this emoji. Yep. And I'm thinking, you keep saying that. You're wishing most of your life away. You're wishing 2 days only and then the rest in the garbage. I mean, those days could be just as amazing as the rest as the weekend. I made note of that a long time ago, TJIF. And I thought, well, let's not just look at Friday being the best day. How about every day being the best day?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a sad thing. But I like that you mentioned that how you reframe things and start looking, it can make the biggest difference, what you're telling yourself about something. And that it doesn't have to be all at once. That's the other thing I got from you, is that people will see, oh, well, I don't like where I am with my health. And they're like, well, okay, the first thing you do, okay, maybe like one thing. Okay, I was drinking soda every day. Let's just cut out the soda. So it's not like you made a huge difference, but it's like one thing after another. It begins to compound.
It does. It absolutely does. And I love where you went with that. My wife is 10 and a half years sober. Just, so for her to cut out alcohol, but then she noticed years later, she was just loving Diet Coke because, well, I'm not doing alcohol, so I need to have something to drink when everybody's out at a bar, and then she realized this Diet Coke is not, so replacing that with sparkling water or LaCroix or some sort of so just finding those little things that, and it just makes you feel a little better about yourself, So that's a great step.
Now, your book also mentions strengthening your belief system. It's interesting. There's been a lot of grumbling on some of the social medias. One thing I did to detox myself is got off all social media for the most part, like the toxic ones, hanging out on it and streaming. Like, I'm bored. Let me just go down and check all the negative feedback here. Now, that's one thing I did to help myself. But I find a lot of people are talking about things, but when you get to the core of it, what do you really believe? What is your value system? I found, even including myself a couple of years ago, when I started to write down, what are my value systems? What do I really stand for in things? How do people begin to really get a real understanding of where do they stand with something? What is my true, deep, damn desire beliefs? Not something that maybe I got from mom and dad growing up that I just carried on. Yeah. How do they begin to do that?
Boy, that's such a good question, because that once we have done that, that's going to literally define everything else, right? My beliefs lead to my feelings and actions and behaviors, which lead to my results. And so getting into those beliefs is huge. I think being still, I mean, even like talking about our vision board a few minutes ago, I'm not just grabbing a pair of scissors and a glue stick. It's taken some time before the vision board to really write out what are the things I want to be known for. If I were to introduce you to an old friend and say, hey, I want to tell you about Christina, what are the character traits or adjectives I'd use to talk about how generous you are, what kind of listener you are, how patient and how loyal and how, like, so really, really going and then putting those kind of words and phrases on the vision board, not just pictures of things you want to have, but words and phrases of things you want to be known for. Mm-hmm. That helps us believe in the things that matter most. And if I want to be known as an honest person, if I want to be known as someone that doesn't candy coat stuff and is blunt and is, is honest to it, or whatever those traits are, well, I'm going to live into that quality a lot more.
I love that you said that. I forgot the name of the book. It's been about 2 years now, but it was interesting because the guy said, when I started to make his transformation he did in his fitness journey, he said, I did not see myself as a runner. I did not see myself as healthy. Mm-hmm. I saw myself as a very unhealthy person. Hence, I lived as that. It took me a while to start being a runner. And by saying that, I said, I first started to ask myself, if I were a runner, if that was who I was being, what would a runner be or do? Like, mm-hmm. What would their lifestyle be like? And then I started to encompass that bit by bit. Okay, a runner would put good stuff in their body. A runner would, so he did stuff like that. And then before you know it, he's like, I'm a runner. That's who I am. I run. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's true with public speaking, mm-hmm. or confidence in how I greet people. Like people saying, oh, I'm an introvert. I don't love people. Like, mm-hmm. Maybe one step is to stop labeling us. We're all just humans. Like, let's not say I'm this political party or this character trait or this Enneagram number, or I'm not saying there's not stuff to learn from those. There's a lot we can learn, but sometimes the labeling just goes too far. And Well,
you talked about the Enneagram. I actually thought it was interesting. My friend was so into, oh my God, I think you're this one. And mm-hmm. I was like, oh, I want to be this one because it sounds cool. And I'm like, but it was number 8. I was like, ooh, yeah, that sounds cool. And my friends were like, no, I think you're a cheerleader. But it was like, you know what? When I read every single one of them, I have pieces of me in every single one.
You got it. Yeah. You bet.
Now, I might kind of, my style might go lean towards one or another, but it doesn't mean I can't pick up another. Like, let's say it's public speaking. Had you met me 10 years ago, I do not do public speaking. I do not like talking to strangers. Now I do it several times a week, and I love it. So, you don't have to stay stuck. Yeah, I love that.
That's the best. That's the stuff that gives us hope and humans to feel like we're evolving. Mm-hmm. I have this image in my head of being in my 70s or 80s and just sitting in the front row, learning, taking notes, just being hungry to learn. Like the old saying, if I'm not growing, I'm dying. The minute I stop craving new knowledge and new skills and new learning from it, just, you start getting crusty. You're a curmudgeon. Like literally, who wants to be that? None of us.
Yeah. And
but a lot of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of us.
Oh.
Yeah. We made fun of those get off my lawn type people when we were younger. And then now we become them if we get too rigid in our ways. Mm-hmm. And so that's a daily thing. It's a daily choice. We obviously have to make of like, okay, I'm going to try to see this day with fresh eyes and learn and be open-minded to what other people think and believe. And that doesn't mean you don't have your core convictions and you stick to them.
Yeah.
But you're still being empathetic of what other people think.
Yeah, that's a very good point. We had someone on years ago with sales, and she had said, first and foremost, as a business, you have to say you stand for something, help a certain amount of people. Like people have to know who you are. And so having a core set of beliefs, saying this is my belief and my core values, because then, as she said, if you don't have that, you're just if you stand for nothing, you fall for everything or something like that. And so it's good to have that, but it doesn't mean you cannot connect with others. There's some people that, think or act or be a certain way that isn't jiving with me. Maybe they eat unhealthy or maybe they, whatever they are into. It's not my thing. Doesn't mean I can't have a connection with them.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yep. I've been one of my, I guess, well, it's actually a Bible verse, but for me, Titus 3:2 talks about slandering no one. And one of my goals for this year is to not talk down about anybody. And so being around other people that are either gossiping or just, oh, they're this or they're that, or I'm guilty. I'm not above that.
Yeah.
I've of course been guilty of that in my life, but I'm really trying to be intentional. And anytime I hear someone say that, do that, I'm not going to judge them. I'm just going to try to change the conversation. And so it's just an example, like you said, of we're not going to see eye to eye with everybody, and doesn't mean we're any better than anyone else. None of us are.
No.
But it's just trying to guard the things you're working on.
Yeah. And that was really good because it's just one teeny tweak that you start to add that makes you a better person and also healthier, because when you get into stuff like that and you don't even think about, oh, well, the neighbor's this and that, it's negative. You're you're taking that negativity into you, and it's just not healthy. I
can't agree more. Yeah. It gives you that little, it's like, to me, it's like eating a donut where it's a momentary sugar rush. And it's like, this is great. Yeah. And then literally the minute I'm done, it's like, I probably shouldn't eat that donut, and you have that little bit of, and not to say we can't have dessert and enjoy that, obviously, but just sometimes talking about others or belittling people or whatever, sometimes it elevates our self-esteem, which gives you that little dose, that little hit in the moment. Yeah. But then it drags you down like sugar would or like alcohol would.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I think what I've been doing in my life is to have those things that we might like in a very rare circumstance. But I've now told myself that if I am going to have some sort of pastry, it's going to be the best darn pastry, meaning I'm going to go to a bakery that makes it super fresh. Yeah. Really good ingredients. Because if I'm going to have it, let's let it be the best darn pastry it can be,
Yeah. Well said. Heck yeah. Enjoy it.
Well,
and earn it.
That's right. Yeah. And it could be that, but that's one thing. If you do it all the time, it doesn't have that same reward, because it's just like,
Agreed.
You're not, yeah. So there's so many bits to your book that can help people grow and expand. Where can they get a copy of Redefining Possible? How can they do that?
Yeah. Thanks for asking. And no, we hope it hits listeners in a good way. There's a lot of strategies in it, not just studies and statistics and whatnot, but how to, a lot of strategies to work on. So redefiningpossible.com, or just of course, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere books are sold, they're on all.
Yeah. And can they work with you at Southwest Family? Because you're doing work via Zoom, or can they in person? How does that work?
Yeah, we do everything. We do it in person. I'm actually flying to Austin and San Antonio in a couple of weeks to do a lot of live training with teams. And then we do a lot virtually as well. And then we do anything group formatted or one-on-one. So if it's a team, whether it's a keynote or more of a training, and then, all that as well. And so just, Ron Alford, I'm on, of course, LinkedIn and Instagram and all the main places. And
I'm curious, has it shifted a lot since COVID? Is it more online now because of COVID, or not really a shift?
It is a shift. Yeah. I mean, a year ago, we the word of the year, pivoted, right? We, right. We went to where it was about 95%, and it's great now. Cause if I in Seattle get a great referral for someone in Denver, usually I would have to choose, okay, am I going to fly there? Are they going to have to pay for this or that? But now a company can choose to fly us somewhere, or we can just do it virtual. Or like if it's a medical device company or certain types of industries have reps and people spread out.
Yeah.
And so people in, they're Florida people, they're Texas people, they're Michigan people can all come together. So it's just a great tool. And it's one thing I love is that you can still emotionally reach people and make it very interactive and make it very engaging, even over Zoom. I know a lot of us have kind of gotten zoomed out, but it's still a great tool. So
yeah. I mean, I've met wonderful people through this show for the past 10 years. Oh my gosh, it's 10 years almost we've been doing this. Yeah.
Wow.
But I've met so many people. I mean, in Thailand, I met someone, and I mean, you name it, Russia, just around the globe. That I certainly did not take planes there, and that would have been hugely costly. So, I mean, this modern technology has really allowed us to connect with people we probably would have not connected with had we not had it. But even more so, I love that your service-based company is able to help even more people because of this technology. It's just great.
Yeah. Well said.
Well, I just have to thank you again, Ron, for coming to share your great wisdom today on Savvy Broadcasting. Thank you.
Yeah, Christina, thanks for having me. This is fun. Appreciate it.
God bless. Take care.
You too. God bless you.
like, subscribe, and share this episode. To listen to more savvy episodes and savvy biz tips, go to www.lifeunscriptedradio.com. To find out about our paid sponsorship opportunities or how to become a guest, email Christina at lifeunscriptedradio.com.